Welcome back to the Hoops Temple podcast. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz. Joining me from Sacramento, Aaron Schroeder.
Good to see you guys. Glad to be here.
And join us from New Zealand, Dylan Williamson.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. And I do want to just start things off with our usual plug at the end. We have an email address, hoopstemple@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys if you have thoughts, especially going into the home stretch, the playoff push. Go ahead, shoot us an email. We'll make sure it makes it onto the next week's episode. We have like 300 listeners, but we get like 0 to 3 emails a week. So, email. We've got time for you. But, gentlemen, we have a fun thing today. I came up with this idea, totally original, never been done before. We're going to do a playoff wins draft. We have to see, just to be able to talk through the teams. Aaron, Dylan, do you guys have any pre-draft strategies picked out?
Pick the good teams? Is there more to it? I think that's the point. That's the whole point of the exercise.
All right. Well, for people that don't understand, just when I throw out the words playoff wins draft, what we're doing is we're going to draft playoff teams and get points for how many wins they get. Wins are worth the same in each round. We did decide that the play-in is worth a point. So if you're a 10 seed and you win 2 play-in games, that's 2 extra wins. Good luck not getting swept by either Cleveland or OKC, but it still is there. And because I thought it would be more fun to do something like this, we're going to share our screens.
Make sure you close all the problematic tabs, Nate.
Oh, man.
Nate's going to get canceled.
Not again.
Man, the budget went up to my time that I was gone.
Right? I mean, it literally did because StreamYard renewed me for way too much money. So, whoever wins this spin will get to choose their draft position.
Draft position? Not just going first, but choose the position. Okay. Some added strategy.
Uh-huh. I'm going to choose to go second. We are doing a snake draft, boys.
Oh my god, Dylan. What is it doing? That was dramatic.
It snuck you over the top there. Dylan, would you like to go first or third?
Let's do first.
Okay. You get to start us off.
Aaron looked too happy. I'm changing. I'm going third.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, Dylan. The first pick in the inaugural Hoops Temple wins draft, playoff wins draft. Who are you going with?
Defending champs, the $8 billion team.
Whoa. $6.1 billion.
Hey, and it's a complicated sales scheme where they're gonna sell it over multiple years at different prices. So giving them the maximum credit, calling them the $8 billion team. Wow. The $8 billion Boston Celtics.
Yeah. I think that's probably who I would have gone with if I had kept the number 1 pick. But I don't know. I feel like repeats haven't happened that frequently outside the juggernauts. And so I kind of wanted to be able to spread my odds around and have multiple shots at the belt. With my second pick, or my first, the second overall pick, I'm going to go with the OKC Thunder. Aaron, how do you feel having the Thunder and the Celtics off the board?
I think that's how it should have gone. And we can stop for a second on the Celtics. They are the returning champions. They're defending champions. Mm-hmm. They've been by net rating kind of behind OKC and Cleveland throughout the season, but with Porzingis kind of in and out of the lineup, they've already done it. They're focused on this playoff run. I think they're as good as those teams essentially, and especially given the Eastern Conference, you're gonna want to stock up on Eastern Conference teams. I think in the Western Conference, if you make the Western Conference Finals, you did some insane shit. You can make the Eastern Finals on accident. That could just happen to you. You're like, whoa, I'm in the Eastern Finals. And so I think you really want to. I think Boston. I actually think Boston is obviously like the top option there. You're gonna want them to. You want them for sure. And OKC has been historically great. Like their underlying metrics have been insane. A net rating of plus 13.5. Like they don't just have like the best player on the floor in every single game almost, but the way they play, the insane 3-point differential and the perimeter defense and the rim protection, they just crush teams. They beat the good ones and they demolish the bad ones. It's like what's another way to say they're really fucking good? They're like the 2015 Hawks on if they had SGA, where you have like the regular season formula and an MVP candidate. It's the best of both worlds.
Do you have any concern over picking young teams this high, especially a team like OKC that's never won a playoff series, to pick them as the second most likely to win out?
So I have an overall draft strategy, and I knew by giving up the number 1 pick, I would be giving up the Boston Celtics. There was no chance they were going to slip to me at number 2. But this is a playoff wins draft, and I wanted multiple teams that had a chance of winning 12 games, so making at least the conference finals. And I felt like if I picked Boston, coming back around in a snake style with pick 6, I was not going to get another team that could win 12 games. I'd be maxing out at 8. So I feel like with OKC, I've got a really good chance of making conference finals. And if not conference finals, or like, and picking up another team that can make the conference finals. I am a little bit nervous. I think if Dallas gets healthy here at the end, not to give Nico Harrison any sort of praise or love for his decisions, but Dallas does present a real problem going up against OKC, that imposing front line, and where that is one of the Thunder's weaknesses. Like, that's not a team that I want to see come out of the play-in. But if that does happen, like I still feel like OKC just has enough weapons. They have enough guys who, on any random night, could get you the 30 points. Like, if you have the Isaiah Joe game where he hits 5 of 8 threes, that could flip a playoff game. And they have a bunch of Isaiah Joe level guys. There's, Kayson Wallace, Aaron Wiggins. It's to go along with legitimate superstar and Shea.
Could I pick the Thunder to win that Mavs series in less than 4 games? Is there a way for me to bet on that? Can I do Thunder in 3, maybe 2?
Because the Mavs are so injured that feel in place and therefore have to fold it.
That's right. They might have to. They were at risk of forfeiting games, and now
they're going to forfeit playoff games as well.
I have no concern. You can have concerns over young teams, but at some point those concerns have to end when they are demolishing everybody every single night at a historic rate. Clearly, their youth and inexperience isn't mattering. And like, I understand the playoffs are a different situation, but like, they made a playoff run like last season. They were in the playoffs. They were the 1 seed. Like, they have played in playoff games. And SGA isn't a young person. Well, he's young in compared to everyone on earth, but he's in his mid to late 20s. Like, he's not 21 years old. He's not 22 years old. This isn't like a rookie. He's going to be fine.
Also, everyone's inexperienced until they're not. Like, you have to get that experience at some point.
And I do suppose that, being an inexperienced playoff team, maybe we can't hold it against you to the same degree when you're also the best defense of all time and have the MVP on your team. Like, those two things don't normally line up.
Thank you. Yeah. Best defense ever.
Aaron, who are you going with picks 3 and 4? Have you thought about this at all with the turn? You get back-to-back picks.
I do get back-to-back picks. I like snake drafts of 3 people. I find them funny. I'm taking the Cavs. I think that's kind of the obvious third pick. This has been a big 3 all season. Am I a little nervous that the Orlando Magic seem to have broken their spirits and they've been losing games recently? Just a little bit, but I still think there's such a gap between them and whatever the 4th team's going to be. They just rain threes. They're the best offense in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell can close any playoff game and has done so throughout his career. And they're going to play a 32-win team in the first round. They're going to make the second round automatically. Any thoughts on the Cavs?
Yeah, that is notable how weak the bottom of the East is. That is a big advantage for picking the Cavs, is that no matter who their first round matchup is, like I guess maybe Orlando could be frisky, but like they're probably going to get a pretty easy first round matchup, which you can't really say about any other team. Like maybe the 2-7 in the East, but the West you don't want anyone out of the play-in. And the 3-6-4-5s in both conferences should be fairly competitive.
I may not draft a Western Conference team.
Yeah,
it's an automatic 4 wins.
Yeah.
Wins for the Cavs. I think I watched their game against the Clippers the other day, and like it was an amazing Clippers game. The Cavs lost it, but also the Cavs, not to say they were like going through the motions, but like they didn't alter their rotation. They didn't extend minutes. They're like, cool, we've locked up the 1 seed. We're not really gunning for more than that. I mean, we can gun for the number 1 overall in the playoffs, but like it kind of feels like they're just in a March glaze, or just chilling and trying to be healthy, not trying to exert themselves too much. And so like I'm not overly worried about this last little bunch of games here. So I think Cleveland should be the easy 3rd pick. Now, are you going to stick with the East for your 4th pick, or the 4th pick?
The 4th pick. I'm taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks next. They're 44-26 right now. They have been in the playoffs quite a bit throughout the past few seasons. Jalen Brunson has played excellently in the playoffs over the past few seasons. I just think they're a roster ready to make an Eastern Conference Finals run. And like they're gonna, if any team in the East, like they're gonna compete against those top teams, Boston and Cleveland, probably the best. And again, I need to stack more Eastern Conference talent.
Interesting. I was thinking that by stacking this much Eastern Conference talent, you've basically guaranteed that you will not have as many conference finals teams. Like you're helping your chances of getting to the chip. Well, you still have to go through Boston. I'm super happy for who you left on the board. I think the Knicks, if Brunson can come back, like great, cool, have fun getting knocked out in the 2nd round. But that's where I'm at.
I think I increased my chances. I think you're mistaken. And I think either way, I will have it's a 2 out of 3 shot to have the Eastern Conference Finals representative, and I got 2 of those.
Dylan, are you at all worried? Do the Knicks threaten your Celtics pick in the least?
No. Doesn't Knicks Pistons first round just seem like, if you were to pick a match, upset, doesn't that just seem like the one?
Yeah.
No.
Like, I mean, it just has bad vibes. Knicks Pistons first round gives me bad vibes if I'm a Knicks fan. Well, it feels ominous.
It feels like Cat's gonna fold as soon as Beef Stew hits him. Like Stew's not backing down, and I think
small
Cat
point
will.
guard, soft center against the Pistons.
Guys. Yeah. Guys, they have Mikal Bridges and OG. Like they're just endless. They have endless wings.
Noted vocal leader Mikal Bridges.
They play hard as shit
and playoff performer.
They play crushing like anaconda squeeze basketball. They never take their starters out. Like they've been playing playoff basketball for months. No one else is here yet. They're ready to go.
Exactly. They can't ramp it up. They're here. They've been here.
All right. Nate's back on the clock.
I'm back on the clock, and I'm taking Denver. I'm very happy that
your Western Conference teams. You're doing the same thing I did.
Yeah, but I'm not taking a team that's going to have to go against Boston right now. OKC has 1 lane in, and Denver has another lane to get there, and I'm guaranteeing myself a Western Conference Finals team.
Denver's going to lose in the first round. They're going to lose in the first round because the West is insane, and then we're going to come back to this.
Nah, Denver's also pacing themselves. They've been getting Murray some nights off. They've been Jokic some nights off, and you know what? Some of the young guys.
About that.
some of the young guys are doing okay. Watson, it has been serviceable this year. Zeke Naji had a couple game stretch where Zeke Naji was playing in fairly well. Words I didn't think I would say in this lifetime, but you know, I think Denver has the second best chance of coming out of the West.
I think the second best chance in the West is like 8%. And the second best chance in the East is like 35%. If Boston's like half, and then it's Cleveland at 35, and the Knicks at the rest of that percentage. But the West is so evenly split up. I think you're making a draft error. I
feel
agree,
like
the second best, but
I feel like I can get Milwaukee on round 3 or round 4 and have a decent chance of winning the East.
You're gonna take a Doc Rivers led team. You're gonna take a Doc Rivers coach team in a playoff wins draft. Okay, yeah, man, go ahead.
Hey, listen, to lose a 3-1 lead, you still have to get 3 wins.
It's good, man. Good point.
I feel like there is a algorithm that could have been calculated to work out the maximum win percentage. I wish I had done a bunch of cocaine and spent 24 hours writing this code so I could figure out the formula, crack the code, get the objectively correct answer.
I wish I had known that Aaron was going to take the Knicks because I have the Knicks as a round 3 or round 4 choice. And so I would have totally gone first in that scenario because I now really love who Dylan has as options for pick 6 and pick 7.
I might take more Eastern Conference teams. I might just take these.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Dylan. Next 2.
It's me. All right. I can't believe you're. Oh man, now the strategy gets hard. I feel like the three of us have almost defined unique strategies. And mine so far has just been to pick the best available team, even if that does conflict with maybe other teams that I've selected and could cannibalize the wins.
You've only had one pick. What do you mean your strategy has been take multiple teams if it could cannibalize this?
He's got his strategy. What's the pick?
I'm thinking ahead, Nate. I've been defining this in my head. I can't believe that you guys are gonna make me take the Lakers, but I think it's the option here.
I hate the Lakers, man.
It'd just be the way that the world is going. It'd be the perfect way to end the NBA season is for the Lakers to win the championship.
I do really love that when the Davis trade happened. What I said, what most people said is well, you kind of you toss this year out. It's a strange roster, but then rolling forward, every second after this, Davis gets older and Luka gets better. And that's just, actually, no, the Lakers are a better team. They're a better team. I like their title chances more than I did before. And it's just going to be so hard to beat a team with Luka and LeBron on it. LeBron took his trip to Europe for his secret sauce. He did that early in the season. And then he took his yearly 2 weeks off in March. He is on schedule to have a nice playoff run.
Also, that backup point guard, LeBron James Jr., dropping 17 points in a blowout loss to Milwaukee. No, I've been kind of monitoring the 5-man unit of Reeves, LeBron, Luka, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jared Vanderbilt, because I think that's kind of the best, most balanced lineup the Lakers can have of having 2 really good defenders out there with Luka, LeBron, and then just the third best overall player in Reeves. And the first couple of games they played with that lineup was horrendous. 5 minutes, negative 30 points per 100 possessions, horrendous this per game. But it started to get better, and it looks really good, or it did look good until LeBron went down. And I think that that switching, that versatility, Finney-Smith can kind of guard a little bit bigger, can guard up. Luka can guard up. But LeBron is thick enough that he can guard some 5s. and then Jared Vanderbilt will chase around the smaller or wings. And I think that actually may be a functional lineup that can get them through Memphis, but can it get them through OKC? I'm still betting no.
It's so tricky with the West. I think it's so tricky with the West because you really do run into OKC just is going to spawn kill one of these teams. Like they're going to find one of these guys and just murder them in the second round. I really do feel like this is one of those seasons where I don't really know who the champion's going to be. Like, could be anybody. Like, let's see how this is. And the Thunder are going to win the title and probably lose about 2 games while doing it. It's just you're going to look back on this and say, we probably should have seen the signs when they were just by far better than everybody the entire time. Like that was a nice thing we should have really checked out. And so taking those West teams, it makes you nervous about what the second round or even the first round for someone is going to hold.
Yeah. That is the complicated thing because in my mind, a lot of the Western teams are superior, but if I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I also really like Memphis. I like Golden State. I like Houston. A good Western Conference team is going to lose in the first round. Which one it is will remain to be seen. But Dylan, you've got the turn. Who are you going with your second pick or third pick?
So on the last episode, I told you about my my recent expedition into NBA gambling, and I had actually a nice run, stacking up winnings, reinvesting those winnings. I was making good growth, and then the thing that finally ended me was betting against my Clippers, and the game that they beat the Cavs, and so. The thing that retired my sports gambling after a 2-week stretch was betting against the Clippers. And so I'm going to not do that now. I'm going to bet on the Clippers with this pick. I'm going to take the upside play with the extra game out of the play-in, matched up 2-7 against the young Rockets team where the Clippers will have the best player on the court. Will have the best player in the game at any given time. With that extra playing game, I'm going to take the upside play and bet on my team and let the good karma come back around.
Can we bet on James Harden's field goal percentage in that series? I'm just going to go 37%. That's going to be a tough one.
I was going to say over under 36, so yeah. I like that you're optimistic.
Pretty optimistic. Yeah, no, I think that pick in the long term makes sense. This is a team with not one last crack, but it really feels like that might be it. They've saved Kawhi, they bottled him up. He is load managing harder than anyone has ever load managed in their life. And here it is. Like, let's play in these playoff rounds. You don't get breaks anymore. They have been good enough defensively, and if Kawhi can be healthy, they should have a legitimate chance of making the finals. Also,
I misquoted I misspoke. I just misknew because I watched the 40-minute recaps. Well, I talked about.
I start using that one.
I misknew because I was talking about how good of lineup rotations Ty Lue was doing in watching the Clippers game. And someone was like, man, Lue wasn't even at that game. Lue was out.
Ty Lue's load managing too.
Yeah.
He's kept ready.
And so is Jeff Van Gundy, who's the associate head coach. So apparently Brian Shaw is now handling things.
NBA championship winning coach Brian Shaw.
Who did he win a chip with?
I know
he got the Nets to the finals a couple of times. But did Shaw win a chip as a coach?
Maybe I misknow that as well.
I don't know. All I know is that his contract had an out if the Lakers job ever became available. So that's always one of my favorite things is that you have an opt out of your clause if you can get the Lakers job.
Brian Shaw was an assistant in 09 and 10 for the Lakers.
There we go.
Okay.
And also
you're thinking of somebody else for the Nets too. You think you're misknowing that as well. It's a different former player. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Because Shaw was with the Hornets and it was with Chris Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was gosh, who was that?
Byron Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another bald coach.
Yeah. Another bald former Laker coach.
Okay.
Or former Laker player. Okay. Clippers.
That's a classic. I think I'm gonna say that at least once a podcast. I'm missing.
I misknew something. But okay, I gotta think about this Clippers pick a little bit because I was all prepared for you to take the Lakers and the Warriors. But if I take the Warriors, it's stepping on my Denver Nuggets pick. And so I feel like the most obvious thing is for me here is to take the Houston Rockets and just solidify I will have two teams in the conference finals and a team in the finals because one of Houston, OKC, and Denver is getting out there. The problem is I just don't believe in Houston.
The other thing that you could bet is that the Warriors are going to outperform the Grizzlies for the rest of the regular season and jump to the 5, and then you bet against my Lakers pick instead.
What an insane series. It's just so wild looking at this Western Conference and saying, after the first round, there's only going to be 4 of these teams left. So many good players, so many good teams.
That's why I wanted to do a wins draft as opposed to like a talking about the playoffs because like we don't know what the matchups are. Everything's so tight. Like I kind of like trying to get another I'd like to get an Eastern Conference team. I don't think the Cavaliers are unbeatable, but who's going to match up against them? Is it going to be Milwaukee? Is it going to be Indiana? Detroit technically could jump into the 4 seed without a ton of trouble. Well, like the odds are against them, but it's theoretically possible. I think I'm just going to go with Houston. I think Houston is going to give whoever comes out of the play-in hell. Like they've struggled. They had a struggling point without Fred VanVleet, where they're trying to figure out their rotations. They were also missing, I believe it was Thompson and Eason, but they're on a 9-game win streak. They have gotten past that. They have a lot of different lineups.
They're going to win over 50 games this year.
Yeah, easily. I mean, they're 4 wins away from 50.
And we're picking them at 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally happy here with Houston. Did not expect this. I really should have done a mock draft before this, but yeah, Houston's gonna be my pick.
I think that makes sense, especially because they're gonna at least avoid OKC for the first and second rounds. That's
it's gonna be a shame when they lose to James Harden's 37% field goal in the first round.
Hey, it's good possible. Luck. You still gotta get past the Warriors, or not the Warriors, the Timberwolves.
They're our boogeyman team as well. We can never beat them.
Also, they've got a 4.5 point differential. That is better than a lot of the other teams that we've already picked.
Yeah. Indeed.
Julius Randle revenge playoff series.
Oh yeah, they got Julius Randle. Never mind. Julius Randle's not winning a playoff series. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta. There should be like a rule book of those things. Like, don't take a Doc Rivers team. Don't take a Julius Randle team. James Harden, you already broke that one. You took a Harden team. Come on, guys. We know better. We know this.
What is James Harden's career playoff series record?
Let's see.
Let's see if
that's, I'm gonna bet it's negative.
An easy to find thing.
15-15, dead even.
87 and 79
for games. 87 so still positive. How about take out the Thunder years?
Yeah. Then below 500. How many playoff games did he play there?
Quite a bit. And then they made the conference finals and the finals. I mean, he was playing. He was playing and playing well, but just like in his stardom. Yeah, and I think also that is another thing on how tough the Western Conference is. You see it in James Harden's playoff record, like throughout his entire career. It's real tough. Okay, I'm back on the clock. I need to salvage this.
So many Eastern Conference options.
Yeah, I could just I will have watch the Cavs make the finals. I have 2 wins combined my entire draft. How many teams are we taking?
5.
We're
We're
taking 5.
doing 5 rounds of this. I'm not opposed if time permits it. Doing a 6th round.
I think 6 might make sense. I want us to have to take bad teams at some point.
Okay,
So maybe
6 rounds
would
it
be
is.
fun. So I'm gonna take the Warriors. I think either I was gonna have the Warriors or Houston based off what you were doing, Nate. I think the Warriors are 16-3 with Butler in the lineup. They have just been demolishing teams, and it's just another one of those like, how did I not realize that when you trade for Jimmy Butler, everything gets way better? Like he's like, I love it here. I'm so happy. I'm gonna play the best basketball of my entire career for the first couple of months. Like the honeymoon period, once you get Jimmy Butler, is the greatest thing that can happen to your basketball team. The end of it always gets messy, but there's this
the worst
period.
thing that can happen to your basketball team.
There's this period where you're going to be really good. I think the Warriors are going to perfectly time this, where they're going to hit the playoffs during the Jimmy Butler honeymoon. Him and Draymond are getting dinner together. They're high fiving. They're doing the mind reading stuff. They're all on the same page. They can have the best player in a lot of series in Steph Curry, and they're going to be just physical and gritty, and they're going to get to the rim and shoot a ton of free throws because Butler always does that. And yeah, I'd be horrified if I was anyone playing them.
I'm horrified by what's left on this board.
Did any of you guys watch the Raptors Warriors game? The one where Curry got injured?
I saw him fall.
Okay.
Painful.
So the Warriors are losing when Curry gets hurt. They had been right there with the Raptors the whole game because Darko, Raptors coach, had been employing this I'm just going to let Draymond shoot strategy. And initially it burned them. The Warriors go up early because Draymond hits like 4 of his first 8 threes. These are 3 of his first 6. He's knocking down threes at like an insane clip.
That's what it's like to play against the Warriors in 2K. Like I just don't guard Draymond and he just goes 6 of 8 from 3-pointer and wins the fucking game.
Well, you know what? To Darko's credit, he stuck to his guns, and even as Draymond's hitting threes, he doesn't adjust back and says, you know what? I trust in the math. I trust that like you'll eventually return to the mean, and he eventually does. And then in the fourth quarter, Butler's something like 1 for 11 without Steph Curry out there. But Golden State still gets this done on the back and strength of their defense. And so, like, I know it's the Raptors, and I know the Raptors are actively trying to lose games. I forget what I watched them play. I can't remember if I watched them play, but they actively just didn't bring back in Scotty Barnes, the other starters, in the fourth quarter because they were trying to give up the game. But like Golden State can win games in 2 ways. They can either outscore you with Steph and rain down threes. Quentin Post has been a 3-point shooting revelation out there, or they can win it nitty and gritty. And if you put Post out there or one of their other centers, Jackson Davis, Looney, they have like a big physical rebounding center, and then Green and Jimmy out there. That's now a like imposing front line in defensively. So I really like that pick. I am very nervous about Denver going up against them, but I'm sticking with Jokic.
Also on that, say again.
Oh, I was going to say you got you also have your next pick.
I do. I was going to say before I get there, we didn't harp on the fact that you took a team with Russell Westbrook on it. It's a playoff draft, and you took a Russell Westbrook team. I'm avoiding the right guys. Russell Westbrook hasn't won a playoff series in like 10 years. I mean,
he wins playoff games. He got the Wizards in.
He got he did.
That should be worth something. I think we don't give him enough credit. Yeah.
Russell Westbrook is since they got to the 2016 conference finals and lost it. blew a 3-1 lead. He has won one playoff series, a series against Houston round 1, where he was he was on Houston against OKC and he was injured. But other than that, he lost in round 1 against Houston, Utah, Portland, LA. Then with the Wizards, lost against Philly. Then with the Clippers, lost against the Suns, and lost against Dallas. He's lost in the first round.
Wait.
8 straight times, and he's healthy.
But what do you recognize when you hear that list of teams? Portland, not in the playoffs.
That they're
Philly,
playoff
in the playoffs.
Okay.
Phoenix, not going to make the playoffs. Right guys. He's taken them out. He might have lost the battle, but he won the war because those teams aren't in the playoffs.
He's still around. He's still around. Okay, yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah, we didn't harp on that enough.
And then he's going to go 3-6 against the Warriors. The Warriors are going to age out, and then they'll never make the playoffs again. Exactly. Russell Westbrook is the playoff killer.
He's the Grim Reaper.
Unfortunately, has a 1-year leg effect.
Okay, I'm gonna take Memphis. I think they're like basically the last good Western Conference team. I like my chances. It would really suck if those two teams played each other in the first round. That would kind of kill what I've done. But they have been a top 10 on both sides of the ball for most of the season. John Morant's been in and out of the lineup. Even with that, I think with him healthy, full strength, playoff mode, like they are capable of making the Western Conference Finals. I really think that. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a very good defensive player. They shoot and make a lot of threes, and they could have the best player on the floor in quite a few series.
Okay. All right.
And our genius strategy of not picking Western Conference teams has gone completely out the window, where you can still get the 4 seed in the East, but West 1 through 7 is now gone.
Yeah. All right. Well, you prefer to have good teams, right? Well, the issue with the East is even if you take these guys, like they have to play Boston, and there's way worse than those guys, and they lose.
I do really like the idea of Memphis, because you can definitely see Memphis winning a playoff series. I don't necessarily like their chances against the Lakers. I think that is a difficult matchup for them. Just in that Jalen Wells has been really good at hounding smaller guards. I think both Luka and LeBron are going to be able to use their size against them very well. Vanderbilt is good at chasing around Ja Morant, and Morant's lack of shooting. Not that he's horrendous or whatnot, but like you can kind of lay back and negate some of that speed in the playoffs. But if Memphis does get to play Golden State or gets to play some other teams, there are a lot of matchups that I think Memphis could win and get to that second round.
Well, it gets dicey. It gets dicey from here on out.
Yeah. God, now you got me all psyched out about picking the Bucks. Can I tell you, I would like to pick Orlando right now if Jalen Suggs was going to be healthy. If you're like, Suggs is coming back in a week, I'd be like, oh, I can talk myself into Orlando, maybe even Cleveland in a couple of games or getting something. But I think right now the smart move is to just take the Indiana Pacers. Yeah. I think they've got a better chance. They've got a good chance of beating Milwaukee in my mind. I'm not as big of a Halliburton stand as the two of you guys are, but
what do you mean? The official Hoops Temple top 10 had him as a top 10 player.
Yeah.
I was on paternity leave.
Your name on.
I don't acknowledge that.
Your name was on that. You posted the podcast episode. You approved the message.
I did edit it.
You literally was like, no, this is good. You sent it out. Hey, what's Halliburton been averaging over the last month or so?
He's coming back, baby.
1909.
I'm back in. I'm back in.
He's putting up Bronny James numbers over his last.
Yeah. But you know what?
All the time, but
Bronny James just put up 17 against Milwaukee. I think Halliburton can handle doing that. So, I don't know. I either have to take the Pacers or the Bucks, and I just don't trust the Bucks at this point. So we're going with Indiana.
I found it. I'd like to share this information. So in the last 29 games that Halliburton has played in, not counting some games that he missed, he's averaged 19 points and nearly 10 assists per game, and they've gone 22-7 in that time. I think we're back. I think there's two things is going to happen during our top 100 next year. One, I'm going to come back and say that Halliburton's in the top 10 again. I've learned nothing, and we're going to do it again. And I'm also going to change my stance on Paulo, and I'm going to be way higher on him than the average person. And we're going to push that narrative instead.
I thought we were just going to continue with our Jalen Suggs is the best player on Orlando narrative.
He's close to it. He's also in the top 30.
I mean, we watched Paulo go down, and the team survive. We watched Franz go down, and the team survive. We watched Suggs go down, and now they struggle. I think it actually sucks. It's almost
real
like
ball knowers understand what's going on here.
It's almost like the strength of that team was in their depth and their defensive intensity, and they could lose an offensive engine for some time.
Paulo's looked good, though. He's looked good recently. He's going to win me my fantasy dynasty championship in the league we're in.
Yeah. Go beat your mom in fantasy basketball.
She has a good team.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, she has a good team. She has Luka. It's her favorite player. My mom's favorite player is Luka. I don't think I've said that yet, but
all right. Dylan.
Almost Sacramento King.
That's why she likes it, because she was like, he's gonna be a king, and then even though he wasn't, she stuck around anyways.
That's true fandom. That's loyalty.
Mm-hmm. July, yeah. She was pretty upset when she got traded to the Lakers. She's like, I just don't know how did I gotta handle this? Like, I can't root for LA, but she's a Luka fan.
Would you be interested in De'Aaron Fox because
no,
he was a king?
I don't think she was that torn up about it. I would say she was much more torn up about Luka getting traded than Fox getting traded.
That's fair. You knew the writing was on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan?
Now my tough decision.
Yeah.
Do I dare pick James Harden and Doc Rivers?
Just my goodness.
Or do you want to swing for the fences and go for the 76ers?
Who took Nate, what was your last pick?
I did go with Indiana.
Oh, that's right.
I'm kind of regretting it.
No, it's a good pick.
Yeah, but it could.
I'm gonna learn nothing from your mistake and also not pick Milwaukee.
You've got two
guys,
picks.
do not take the Doc Rivers team. I'm telling, I'm trying to help you. Don't do
right,
it.
Since I've got two picks, I guess I can take both the teams that I want. I mean, both the teams that I don't want. I'll take Detroit basketball just for that spicy first round upset.
Detroit basketball.
And bet against the Knicks. And then I'll follow that up with, oh man. Yeah, I guess the Bucks, because at least if they lose, it should be a close series. So like they should probably get at least three wins.
2 wins,
like 3 wins. Like even if they lose, and then a reasonable chance of getting more than that, which I can't say is true for maybe some other teams. So yeah, I'll take Doc Rivers.
You can pencil that in for 2 wins. Just write it down now.
Yeah, I'll take my 2 wins from the Bucks.
Doc Rivers gets fired and Dame gets traded in the offseason. There you go. I'm telling you exactly what's going to happen.
At this point, you've now picked the 13th team. Milwaukee is the 13th team picked. Only 8 teams make it to the second round. So at this point, you're looking for what team is going to have a competitive first round and win a couple of games potentially. Like it's no longer
sure. Okay.
2-3 wins.
Still playing high upside.
You do that. I do want to just
Grizzlies finals, and I'm going to win.
Is this now the time to? Is this now the time to skip over some teams and pick a playing team, because then at least you're guaranteed the the one win.
The play-in
Wow.
victory?
Some
Potentially.
deep in strategy. Nate's back on
Rather than choosing a team that's going to get swept in the first round.
I will be choosing a play-in team, but
I guess there's only
do-
playing teams left, right?
Yeah.
You've got no choice.
I do just want to touch on the Pistons. It's because what a turnaround. Worst team in the league last year. Sets the record for longest losing streak. And then they add Tobias Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley. Not exactly a murderer's row of players that teams are really clamoring for.
Look what happened to the Sixers when they lost Tobias Harris. Perennial playoff contenders. Now they've won 23 games.
Yeah.
Also,
Tobias Harris is a bona fide winner.
But genuinely, it shows like what happens when you replace the worst rotational pieces on God's earth with very competent and confident NBA players. Malik Beasley broke the Pistons franchise record for threes made like a month ago. He had that before the All-Star break.
Malik Beasley is the third best player on their team, and they've won 40 games already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he killed the Kings. He got Mike Brown fired because he hit that 3-pointer.
You know what? His last two stops, Milwaukee and LA, they wish they had Malik Beasley right now. Like he is performing incredibly well. Jalen Duren. And is there a better center in the Eastern Conference than Jalen Duren? I don't know.
For like 15.
Better
just asking questions here.
Is there
just
a better
questions.
center in the
What?
In the Eastern Conference?
Jared Allen, Al Horford,
Jared Allen,
Kristaps.
Evan Mobley, Kristaps
I don't
Porzingis,
know.
Al Horford,
I don't
Karl
know.
Towns, Mitchell Robinson.
Most of them. Yeah, most of them. Is he the best center on the Pistons?
No,
absolutely.
Who's the second best? Second best center on his own team.
Duran's the second best center on his own team.
Yeah, I might have been. I might have
Jalen Duren.
I might have undersaid it. I might have misknew when I said 15.
Okay. I think the Pistons are an excellent pick. I think there's a chance of an upset there. Good job. I'm going to take
25th best center in the Eastern Conference.
I'm going to take the Timberwolves. I think we're guaranteed a win, whether that come in the 7-8 game or in the loser of 7-8, winner of 9-10. I think the Wolves are going to make it. And I actually kind of really like their chances of getting a couple of games against OKC. Anthony Edwards does not like Shea. He sees the competitiveness. I think that there will be an Edwards game. I think this is a minimum of a 2-win in selection coming out of the play-in with the possible upside of 3. And then if they were to go against Houston, I'm liking my odds. I've now, kind of guaranteed a 4 wins out of those 2 teams. Gives a good chance of making in the second round from one of them.
Okay. I think that's the last good team. Essentially.
Well, you get to pick 2 bad teams.
I get to pick 2 bad teams.
Yeah, and at this point, you're going to get picks 15 and 16. So there is a chance. I mean, there's always a chance that all of our teams could make the playoffs at this point. When it gets back to my turn, we know that one of the teams selected from Dylan or myself, or potentially earlier, will not even make the playoffs because we are going to be taking teams in that play-in mix that conceivably don't make it.
I'm going to take Atlanta and Chicago. I'm just going to scrounge up the Eastern Conference play. I think I'm going to get 2 wins from the Bulls. I think the Bulls are going to win the first playoff game and they're going to beat Orlando. And that's 2 wins more than I think I'm going to get from some of these other teams available.
You sure you don't want to go for the Heat?
No. No, I really don't. I think it's just so insane. This Heat team is going to win. They've lost 10 in a row, and they're so far from Toronto. They're going to make the play-in. I think Chicago will handle them. If Chicago doesn't catch Orlando, which puts me in kind of a weird spot, because if it's Bulls Hawks in the play-in, then that kind of messes with me. But we're sticking with it.
Hey, if it's Bulls Hawks in the play-in, you're guaranteed one win, and you potentially could still get the second win, and then they're both in the playoffs with potentials of getting swept.
Big brain stuff. Real ball knowers take the Hawks and the Bulls in a playoff win draft.
Oh god! All right, that's back to me. I'm gonna take Orlando. I so wish they had it's Jalen Suggs out there, but I do still think the rest of the team could get a game off of Boston, and maybe could get 2 games off of Cleveland if everything in the world breaks right. Cleveland doesn't make adjustments. Bickerstaff shows he's a fraud. Paulo has a 50 piece in the playoffs. I don't know. There's conceivable pathways where I can't believe that you left me Orlando. God, what are you doing? You picked the Giddey.
Josh Giddey almost had a quadruple double yesterday, guys. Like, the Bulls are they're 7-3 in their last 10. It's just a pretty good team. Like, they're all right.
Who have they played in their last 10?
The Lakers.
Are any of these teams notable?
Yeah, they played the Lakers. Enough. Enough.
Without LeBron, without Luka,
No, Luka played in that game.
Did he really play though?
Yeah, he played. He was on the floor.
That doesn't mean he played. There's a difference between being on the floor and playing,
Come on. Orlando's going to lose just back-to-back games in the play-in because they score 82 points a night, and you're going to leave with 0.
Seeing a lot of less than impressive wins here. But Dylan, go ahead, finish this off. Who is going to be the last team in this playoff wins draft?
Oh man, I'll continue to do what has never proven me right before and bet on the Suns, who I thought were going to be really good this year. Kevin Durant single game, Devin Booker single game, get me 1 win, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to be even more bold and go with Dallas.
You hate the Kings that much? Is it that bad? just really quickly, the Kings have been without their best player for quite some time now. I know it's been depressing. I know we're like the most painfully average 500 team you've ever seen. We did beat Cleveland. Sabonis is coming back. I think we're probably going to end up, and we're kind of stuck in the 9 seed. We'll be there. It's scary because I think the play-in stuff, and we're going to have to play a single game elimination and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm surprised that Dallas got brought up before, or Phoenix, who've just been kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, you've talked me out of it. I am in fact going to go with Dallas.
Yeah. Okay. That's nice you. I guess then.
Aaron, the one thing I'll just say about Sacramento is you guys have a ton of playing experience.
That's right.
That is DeMar and
was
Zach
there,
LaVine.
DeMar, Levine. We
Their
know
whole
we're
MO.
going to play. The best game we had last season was a play-in game. We beat Golden State.
Exactly. So there's I forget what pod I was listening to, but they were debating which is better, to have like a really good record in close games or to have a lot of experience in close games. Because if you're 4-0 in close games, but you only had 4 close games the whole year, maybe you're not ready for it when you get to the playoffs. Whereas Minnesota's been in just a ton of close games, and they're like 500 in games decided by 5 points or more. But it's like they know how to close them, and they had this whole debate.
Their wins versus expected wins based on point differential is negative 5.7. So they're just losing a ton of close games.
Yeah. So for Sacramento, maybe it's just more important they have play-in game experience than the fact that they're actually good.
I think they would beat Phoenix. I think they're going to beat Phoenix in the play-in. After that, I have no predictions.
My one thought just with Dallas, and I said it to you guys, but I think before we start recording is like, if Davis comes back healthy, which he's running with the G League right now, so he's probably going to be back for a couple of games at least before the end of the year. Davis, Kyrie, PJ Washington's also on the mend. Derek Lively is running with the G League team as well. Like, it was a stupid trade. It was all around stupid. I don't want to give Nico anything, but like, that team, if brought together through different circumstances, would not be hated. If like Luka just left in free agency and they signed Davis instead, like, Mavs fans could talk themselves into this. But
yeah, like I could even talk myself into like this trade being good for 1 year. Other than like the fact that Anthony Davis is always injured, like the roster construction, you could say actually it does make more sense. Like, this is a better team, apart from the fact that Anthony Davis can't play. But
guys,
it's the out years that are the big issue. This year alone is not the egregious one.
I forgot. Kyrie's also out for the year. Never mind. I take back any optimism I had for Dallas.
I love if this. Go ahead.
I'm taking Quentin Grimes over Phoenix, who have shown that there is no limits to the amount that they can disappoint me.
Man, Quentin Grimes, I do like that both the worst trades in this season it's Dallas doing the biggest fuck up you've ever seen, and then immediately following that is another like catastrophic trade, but it's just no one really cares about it because the first one is so bad. But losing Grimes is such a massive mistake. I really like if this team was brought together under different circumstances. I'm trying to think of an analogy for that. It's like if he just died of natural causes instead of being murdered, I wouldn't be so upset about his passing. I don't know.
It's like he was 85 years old. If he had have just passed in his sleep, I wouldn't be so upset. But the fact that he got set on fire.
Well, it's like someone having like cancer, and you're like, oh, I think we still have like 3 years left, and they get hit in a car crash and die, and you're like,
Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, no,
keeps getting worse.
That's what I was thinking too. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking something like that. I was thinking of the car crash cancer victim. Yeah, good one, Nate.
Yeah, we've all thought about it, right?
Yeah,
we've all been there. Well, gentlemen, we're closing in on an hour. Thank you for doing this this silly exercise with me. I'm just going to read the teams that we got. Dylan has drafted the Celtics, the Lakers, the Clippers, Pistons, Bucks, and Mavericks. I have the Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets, Pacers, Timberwolves, and Magic. And Aaron has the Cavaliers, the Knicks, the Grizzlies, the Warriors, the Hawks, and the Bulls.
Why are my teams so much worse than your guys' teams? What happened here?
I was actually thinking that yours I probably like the most.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I will win this. I just think looking at those teams as a whole, it's just a strange bunch.
Yeah, like you did pick the Bulls who are going to win like 2 games, but then like I've also got probably like 3 or 4 teams that won't win any.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think a lot of Aaron's teams are going to have very competitive first rounds.
And the play, and don't forget the play-in victories count.
Yeah, play-in victories count.
And the Bulls are going to pick up 2 of them.
That's right. That's part of the strategy. I think I should have taken all the play-in teams. Just let me get 12 points off playoff wins.
Hey, the Bulls will probably win more games than the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Conceivably. All right, gentlemen. Do we have any other takes for the season moment?
At the moment, I think.
All right.
We covered every single good team. The rest of the league is just mercilessly tanking.
And next week we'll come back and do a losses pool. Who can lose the most games before the end of the year?
Let's go.
There you go. Honestly, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Aaron, where can the people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, Possible Chairs on YouTube. I have a Patreon. This podcast occasionally. Yeah.
Dylan, where can the people find you?
All the time on the Hoops Temple podcast.
Find me here. Also, you can email the show, hoopstemple@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks for listening.